Hey man, parallel compression is not dead. And if you stop using it just because your compressor has a mix control on it, you might be missing out on huge gains on your mixes. Let's take a listen to this mix before and after I use parallel compression.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way, your way, your way, your way, your way, your way.
All right, so that lead vocal sounds pretty good, but it could sound more urgent, more upfront, more in your face. Let's add some parallel compression.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way, your way, your way, your way, your way, your way, your way. I'm letting go, I'm giving you all of me.
And I was able to achieve that added warmth, that added punch, and that added body just with a simple parallel compression technique. Now, ultimately what parallel compression is when you have a uncompressed or lightly compressed version of your audio signal blended in with a heavily more processed version of that audio signal. You can do parallel compression on drums, it could be vocals, it could be anything you want. The idea though is to keep that transient attack from that lightly processed signal, so we still got the dynamics and all the snap and the punchiness, but to also create a solid body that's like rock hard in that center that helps keep the presence and the punch in your face the entire time. To set this up in Pro Tools is really easy. All I did was on my lead vocal tracks, I set up a send to a channel called Parallel, PLL is what I like to call it, right? And ultimately, I'm just sending off to a new track. This is a mono aux track. I like to keep my parallel compression tracks mono because for me, the whole point is to keep that ball of energy right in the center. And I really like to do this on vocals a lot because it's going to help me to just make sure that the presence of that vocal stays solid no matter what's happening in the music. And I also retain my dynamics by not having to over compress the main signal of that vocal. So I set up a bus here, right? So we start off with a mono aux input and we're sending from our lead vocal tracks. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that I am sending this as a pre-fader send. Now in Pro Tools, you can choose whether you want it to be a pre-fader send or post-fader send. Post-fader is the default option, but I'm using pre-fader send because as I do like volume automation and gain changes and anything else that happens on this lead fader track, I don't want this level to affect the level that's going into the parallel compressor. I want the level that is happening here at this parallel compress chain to always be the same. That's why I'm sending full signal from every one of these, not like a reverb or something where you would open it up and just send a little bit. I'm sending full signal from each one of these lead vocals as a pre-fader send so that the actual track fader does not affect the level that's going into the compressed channel, right? Sit in full level and it's going to give me a constant compressed signal. That's why I pull down this parallel compression fader to determine how much of that parallel compressed signal I want in the chain. Let's take a listen real quick and we'll slowly add in some of this parallel compression to see the difference that it's making.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way, your way, your way, your way.
Right? You should hear that vocal start to come up front more.
I'm letting go, I'm giving you all of me. Don't just be saying words, mean what you say.
Now you can hear that fully heavily compressed signal all the way up right there. Let's turn it down and just find a nice balance for it in the mix.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way, your way, your way, your way, your way, your way, your way.
Without it,
Letting go, I'm giving you all of me. Don't just be saying words,
right?
mean what you say.
So you can hear how that vocal just has way more urgency, and it comes up front and becomes the main character as a lead vocal should be. Let's take a look at what I'm actually doing on this channel here. So I started off with a regular R compressor. Now this compressor is one of my favorites. It has a super transparent sound. It's smooth. You have all the controls that you need on a compressor, so I like this one. With this, I'm doing a pretty fast attack and fast release, and I'm clamping down pretty hard on the actual signal. Now I just want to get all those transients out of there, so we're gonna have that attack pretty fast so that all of those initial attack transients of the vocal gets compressed pretty quickly, and we don't want to really create any pumping or anything. I want this to be kind of transparent, so I have the release also pretty fast. Feeding that, well, after that, I'm feeding into the L4 Ultra Maximizer. Now this limiter is so good, man. I love it because not only am I using it as a limiter, but it has like this upward compression feature as well, which is kind of doing a similar thing here, and it makes it really great to use in a parallel compression chain, to where it's using that upward compression to really turn up those quieter parts of the vocal signal. Again, this way none of that vocal is going to get lost, even her more subtle tones and the more subtle moments in the music. Let's hear it.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way.
So without that parallel listen to how that upward compression pushes the vocals up even more. Yeah. That sounds so much more full.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way. Your way, your way, your way. Your way, your way, your way. I'm letting go, I'm giving you all of me. Don't just be saying words mean what you say.
This L4 has become my new favorite limiter. I'm also using it directly on the lead vocals, and I'm even using it over here on the mix bus as well. Like, this thing is a workhorse, and it's a super versatile limiter, but you can use any limiter. It could be the L4, it could be the L2, any of your favorite compressor limiter combinations. It is important though, you get a little extra kind of body when you do this compression first and then send it into the limiter. I used to only have the limiter only on my parallel compression chain. Let's hear that and how it's different.
Nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way.
Right? And it seems it's a little bit harsher, right? By adding this compressor in to grab some of those peaks, it smooths out this parallel compression.
My nature, baby, no, man. Are you crazy enough to love me? Promise me. Confess your love in front of thousands. Your way.
Makes it a whole lot smoother. All right, so if you have abandoned parallel compression just because the compressors nowadays have mix controls, you are really missing out on the benefits of controlling that parallel compression, being able to layer that parallel compression and decide the tone and characteristics of it. You can even EQ it or do whatever else that you need to do to really make those vocals or drums or bass, whatever that you're using your parallel compression on, really make it cut through the mix. So yeah, I love this technique. It could be called parallel compression, upward compression, New York compression. It is all the same thing, and the whole point of it is to keep that transient snap from the lightly compressed original signal and blend in a more tightly controlled, heavily compressed signal, so we get that fullness and that body of that tight signal while still having the dynamics and the snap of the transients. Using parallel compression can really help bring stuff forward in your mix. So if you've abandoned it, get back to it, man. This still works. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyProAudio.com. Be dope.